Hey everyone, welcome back to Chat Time. I'm your host, Stingray Minecraft Man, and today we're talking about a school story. I never really thought of doing a school story, but something today just happened and it's crazy. So, let's get right into it. So, today at school, I was just doing some work, minding my own business, doing the whatever. And then on the announcements there's this thing that it goes throughout the school, and it's like a microphone, or I don't know, it's like a system where in the main office there's like a microphone, and it's it goes throughout the whole school, and basically so the office can talk to people, which, that's cool and all. So, yeah, so on the radio, I'm just going to call it the radio, but the vice principal is running the radio, so it was kind of, yeah, I don't know why I said it's kind of, whatever. So, the vice principal, so she came onto the mic, and then she's like, Mr. Teacher, I'm just going to say Mr. Teacher for my teacher's name because, whatever. So she's like, Mr. Teacher, it's time. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, did she just say it's time? And I'm confused, like, what time? And then Mr. Teacher says, okay, class, we're going to go outside. And I'm like, we're gonna go outside? Like, what's going on here? And I asked him, and he's like, we'll talk about it later. And I'm like, okay, sounds kind of suspicious, but I rolled with it, and I went outside. So the class went to, like, outside. There's obviously, like, the playground and stuff, and it's basically up on a hill, is the school. Down the hill is, like, a wide open field of grass, and then there's like a playground and stuff like that. So we came out. Actually, the school, I'll tell you, the school is kind of like L-shaped. It's not a very big school, but it's like L-shaped, and yeah, but when you go outside, you're like on the pavement, and then there's like pavement all around it, and then there's like a hill down on one side to the playground and stuff, and then on the other side is like the parking lot and stuff like that. So we came out onto the pavement, and we came around the building to like a play area where there's like a small area with a couple of trees, and then there's like a basketball hoop and stuff like that, and it's like pavements, and there's this Foursquare, I guess, like, they painted, like, a Foursquare, I guess, what would you call it, like, they just painted, like, Foursquare onto the ground. If you don't know what that is, it's like a game that you play outside. So there's four sides, and you get to, you use, like, a basketball, and there's four people, and then you try to, like, you bounce the basketball in the square, and you try to bounce it in other people, so it's divided up like a window, like a four-way window, and each person, like, stands on each side, and there's, like, it's labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, and you basically get a basketball, and you try to bounce it in the other player's square, like 2 times, I think it was. If it bounces twice, then that player's out, and you can't hold the ball, you just have to bounce it. So yeah, it's pretty fun. I used to play it a lot, actually. I don't really anymore. But anyways, so we went and we sat down in a circle around this Foursquare, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And everybody at this time, we're thinking, like, okay, like, what the heck is going on here? Like, is there something gonna blow up or something? Everybody's kind of panicking, and I know that That's very unlikely to happen. Nothing's gonna like there's no like I don't know. Nothing oops, sorry about that. Just smacked something. Nothing's really bad is gonna happen. I know that in the back of my mind, but I'm still thinking like, okay, but what if something bad does happen? And yeah, so we sat in a circle and Mr. Teacher, he's like, okay, class, we're gonna play Duck Duck Goose, which I'm like, why are we playing Duck Duck Goose? And I, I, I said that in my mind. I didn't actually say that, but I was wondering, like, why are we playing Duck Duck Goose? Like, what's going on out here? And so we just played Duck Duck Goose, and we had a relatively good time. I mean, we were still kind of like panicking a little bit, like, what's going on here? What are we doing? Because all the principal said, remember, she just said, Mr. Teacher, it's time. And I'm like, what the crap? So we played Duck Duck Goose, and then Mr. Teacher says, okay, class, go around to the other side of the school, and I'll catch up. And I was like, okay, there's something wrong going on here. Like, who says that? Especially a teacher. Well, I guess, like, I don't know. But, like, that was kind of creepy, so I'm like, what the heck? So I'm kind of walking fast. I'm like, okay, like, what's going on here? I'm kind of panicking a little bit. And then, so, we get to the other side, and nothing's going on. The teacher's there, everybody's just talking to each other, kind of like, okay, what's going on here? And then I come around and I'm kind of just looking around to see what's going on, and nothing is happening so far. Like it doesn't seem like anything's wrong, but it seems like there's something wrong, if that makes sense. So we're all just kind of standing there, and then Mr. Teacher comes the other way around, and I'm like, what? Why would like what? And well, that's basically what I'm thinking the whole time. But I was like confused, obviously. And then he's like, well, okay, so basically, I told you that the school's in the shape of an L, kind of. Well, not kind of. It is in the shape of an L. So we were kind of like the top of the L. So hang on, actually, pretend that it's like an L. So envision in your mind an L, and then flip it upside down, and that's what the school looks like. So on the top left side of the L, if you're imagining that, let's just say the top left side, so the kind of the hook part, if you're looking at it upside down. So we're there right now, and there's a door, like right there on the end of the school. And yeah, so at the bottom of the L school, I'm just going to call it the L school because that's what it's shaped like. At the bottom of the L school, you can kind of imagine it. There's a door down there too. So we kind of went around the left side up to the L, and Mr. Teacher went around the right side, which kind of confused me because that's the longer way. And he said, like, go there and I'll catch up. So I'm like, okay, what the heck? And then, so yeah, Mr. Teacher gets there and he's like, okay, we're gonna go inside now and head back to the class. And then I'm like, okay, like, why would we do that? Why did we come out here? I'm thinking this in my mind. I'm not actually saying it, by the way. So we go inside and we head back to the other hall. There's two halls because it's in the shape of an upside down L. So we go down the long hall. There's a short hall and then a long hall. And the short hall is with where all the little kids are, like the kindergartners, stuff like that. And then we're up at the long hall. At the very end of the long hall, that's where we are. So we head back into the long hall, and we kind of are in the middle of it, and we get to the classroom, and Mr. Teacher's like, okay, wait, just stand in a line at the door. And we're like, okay, what's going on here? And then the principal is there, standing by the doorway with the janitor's mop. And I'm like, what? Like, this is confusing. Why is he standing there with a janitor's mop? And then Mr. Teacher goes up to the principal and he just says something, but I can't hear what he says. He says something to the principal, and then the principal says something back, and then Mr. Teacher comes around and he's like, okay, class, now we're gonna go into the gym. And I'm like, okay. And we're about halfway down the hall. The gym's about in the middle of the long hall, and we're at the very end of the long hall. So we walk like halfway to the gym, and Mr. Teacher goes back and starts talking to the principal again, and we stop at the gym doors, and Mr. Teacher comes towards us, and he's like, okay, class, we're change of mind, we're gonna go back into the classroom now. And I'm like, okay, sure, but like, what's going on here? So we go back into the classroom, and we sit back down. Nothing has happened. There's like nothing going on, and I'm like, what the heck just happened? Why'd we go outside for no reason? Like, we just went outside, started playing Duck Duck Goose. We came around the hall and we came back to our classroom. Like, what was the point of that? And then I hear people talking. They're like, oh, is it a fire drill or something like that? And I'm like, okay, it's probably not a fire drill because I hear the alarms go off. And basically a fire drill is like when we're the whole school is practicing for, like, if we ever have a fire in the school, then everybody knows what to do. So like the fire every, like, I think it's like 4 times a year or something like that. Fire alarms go off for no reason. Well, actually, because it's a fire drill, and everybody evacuates, and then we go back inside just to make sure that, like, everybody knows what to do. So that happens actually a few days ago. Actually, the story I'm telling you, I should have said this at the beginning. It took place today, so it's fresh in my mind. And I even wrote a memo on my phone to make sure I remember exactly what happened. So, you know you're getting the truth right now. So, anyways, we go back into the classroom. Nothing has happened. Nothing's changed. I do see, actually, on the ground, I see, like, a wet area, or semi-wet, and I'm like, okay, maybe it had something to do with, like, the principal holding the mop. Maybe he, like, mopped something up or something like that. But then I was like, okay, why didn't they get the janitor to do it? Because, you know, that's like, why wouldn't you get the janitor to do it? Because that's their job. And so, by the way, the principal's gone back to his office by now. So we're in the classroom. The principal's at his office. We're just wondering what happened. So everybody asks the teacher, and the teacher says, oh, blah, 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 a kid, whoever. I'm going to say his name was AJ. His name wasn't actually AJ, but I'm just calling him that because I don't want to say his real name. So Mr. Teacher goes, he's like, oh, AJ threw up. He wasn't feeling well, and he threw up on the ground. And I was like, what? Why? When did this happen? Why didn't you, like, say anything? Like, we were kind of freaked out there. And he's like, oh, because I didn't want you guys to worry. I'm like, why would we worry about a kid throwing up? Actually, that's kind of a stupid question for me because I'm a little bit of a germaphobe. When somebody throws up, I'm like, stay away from me, please. I don't want the flu. because I hate throwing up. That's like my number one thing I hate. Like if I could rather throw up or something. I'm thinking of something. Sell half of my Call of Duty games. No, that's too harsh. Sell Minecraft and never play Minecraft again. No, that's again too harsh. Sell a tenth of my Nerf guns. No, that's okay. I don't know. Anyways, the point is, I hate throwing up. That's like, I hate it. I don't know why I went through that. I can't edit it out because I don't have an editing software. Sorry. Okay. Okay, back to the point. So I'm like, why would you? There's the kid throwing up. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Because all the class was like freaking out. Like, what's going on? Are we gonna, like, is the school getting blown up or something? Which is kind of ridiculous, but again, it's not ridiculous because why would we be thinking about it if it was ridiculous? It's also a stupid question. I don't know why I said that. Okay, anyways. So, yeah, that's kind of just a story for you about what happened today. I just thought it was crazy. Also, I actually I joined this soccer team. We have like a soccer team on the school. And so I was at soccer practice today because we have practices like every day. And so I was doing that, and it took, okay, so anyways, not anyways, okay, I need water or something. Okay, so we had soccer practice today, and it's at lunch, so we would, well, okay, so it goes, we have recess and then we have lunch. So we have recess, we go outside to like do whatever stuff, and then we have lunchtime where we come back in and eat. So we had recess, and we're playing soccer like usual. I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. And then, like, it's lunchtime, the bell rings. The bell rings whenever we have to, like, come in for lunch or, like, school ends or something like that. The bell rings, and I start walking towards the door. Actually, it's really far away. So the L-shaped school is kind of... So in the hill, when I explained earlier that there's, like, a hill that goes down, it was like that. It was down there, and we have soccer practices down there. So I walked towards the hill to go in to eat, and the soccer instructor was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm going in for lunch. Like, is there something, like, wrong with that?" Well, I didn't say it like that. That kind of sounded rude. Rude. That kind of sounded rude. I said, like, well, I thought we were supposed to go in for lunch right now. And then soccer instructor's like, no, we're doing practice. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'll finish to the end then. So we had, like, soccer practice for, like, 10 more minutes. And then I'm like, okay, I don't feel like doing this anymore. I want to go in and eat. I didn't say that to anybody, but I just thought about that in my head, and I'm like, hey, blah blah blah, my friends, aren't we supposed to, like, go in right now or something? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, that's what we usually do. And then my friend's like, okay, get back to soccer practice, you idiot. And I'm like, okay. So I practiced for, like, I don't know, I want to say, like, it felt like 10 more minutes. It's probably like 5 more minutes, but felt like 10 more minutes. And then we go in to eat. And I'm like, why didn't we go in earlier? And the soccer instructor's like, we're practicing for the tournament. And I'm like, we have a tournament? Nobody told me that. And then I didn't go to the tournament. Well, this happened today. I'm not planning on going to the tournament. I don't want to. Anyways, I think that's gonna wrap up today's chat time. By the way, I'm sorry that I haven't posted any videos uh, recently. I just been busy with school and stuff like that, um, guitar practice and that kind of stuff. So I haven't really made time to make videos, but I thought today was a good day to make one. So thank you for watching Chat Time. My name is Stingray Minecraft Man, and peace out.